Hey, it's Huck. And I'm sorry for this. I'm going to wear my oxygen here. I probably go through this video without it, but I find that when I talk at length, I get winded very quickly if I don't have this on. So it'll be easier for both of us, I think, if I wear this. I want to apologize. I had intended, I think about close to 3 weeks ago now, I had posted a video called Enough. And in that video I had mentioned, among other things, that I was hoping to post the final 2 videos of my trip to London, you know, within days. And unfortunately I've had a couple of problems. I've posted 2 videos of my trip to London, and again, I was only able to go to London thanks largely to the fact that I've been getting some help, some substantial help, which has helped me pay, you know, my bills, and well, made it possible to pay my bills, and then on top of that, I received, you know, largely from the views from some of my videos, some unexpected income from YouTube, and that was essentially the money I used. Now, the truth is that trip is still costing me. Bills are still coming in from that, and well, we'll see if we're able to pay them. But I apologize because I had mentioned on that last video that I was hoping to post the final 2 videos. As you know, I was in England for about 6 days, actually 5 full days. And the first 3 days of that trip I was very sick and basically couldn't leave the hotel room. So the final 3 days I was there, final 2 days I was there, I tried to fit in as many things as I could. And the truth was I was still recovering. And so a lot of the footage that I did get was basically from, you know, views from the vehicle I was driving, because I wasn't able to get out of the car much. And for instance, the next video I was hoping to upload, and I still hope to upload, I went to 2 places. I went to London, and now it's widely known that London doesn't have very good air quality, and I'm sure people that live, you know, in England and near London are aware of this, maybe much more than, at least than I was. But I can tell you that as I was getting closer to London, you know, I didn't notice anything until I actually got, you know, deep into the heart of London and tried to get out of the car. As it turned out, the day I was there was a Monday. I don't know if it was the 28th or I think it was the 27th or 28th of August, and it normally that is a well, that's at the very end of their summer, I suppose. They don't get a lot of summer weather, even in August, and at any rate, that day set an all-time record for heat. I guess it was like pushing 90 degrees, which was a record for that day. And one of the things, you know, that you hear before you go on a trip like that, at least that I kept hearing, was that, you know, that it rains all the time, you know. And frankly, the first, you know, 5 days of my trip, it didn't rain at all. And so it was very dry. And at any rate, a lot of what I shot while I was driving around London was shot from inside the vehicle I was driving. And at one point, as I was, I think, making a turn, my good video camera fell off the dashboard where it was sitting filming everything as I was driving, and fell to the floor of the car and broke. And that camera still is not working. I contacted someone in California where I know you can send your camera and they work on them, and they gave me an estimate. But I sent my camera to them years ago, and they gave me a reasonable estimate, and then when I actually sent it in, they contacted me a few days later and told me that the actual cost is going to be like 3 times what the estimate was. And so at any rate, I got a reasonable estimate. Well, at any rate, I don't have the funds to get that fixed, and so it's still sitting here. So the rest of my trip from that point on, you know, from the point where I actually was in London, and then the following day, we're taken with, I had my camera, or my cell phone that I'm shooting on right now, and I had this little Kodak, this little camera, but it shoots not high definition, but it shoots video, and a function I didn't even know it had. It was a little Kodak camera. At any rate, so I shot a lot of film with that, and although it's not high definition at all, on the last day when I went to this little village in Cornwall where my ancestors are, you know, from, I pretty much used that because at that point my camera quit working, my cell phone camera quit working for some reason. I think the video card was full, and it wouldn't allow me to film anything, or for that matter even take pictures. So I was left with that little camera, and at any rate, I apologize for not getting those 2 films up. The one where I went to London, and on my way back, I stopped in the village of Oxford, the city of Oxford, and that was fascinating. And I did get out of the car there to go into a little pub, somewhat famous pub, and the reason that I haven't been able to get that video up is because I'm, again, having computer issues, and I don't know what it is about this computer. This is a computer that I bought, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or so, when my other computer, you know, quit working. And, you know, I wanted to get a quad-core, you know, at a reasonable price, and I think I paid $180 or something altogether for this doggone thing. And it's never, well, there are several issues with it. For whatever reason, it won't process video sometimes, and sometimes it will, and it just I haven't figured out why. And at any rate, I'm having a problem with a couple of the films. It'll start processing, it'll allow me to work on certain things, and then I'll upload a video to it. This camera that is now broke uses a memory card, and you know, and so it's easy to just, you know, copy that card into the computer, and even, you know, I have 2 different films taken from the same camera, and one will work, and I can process it, and then I try to take another video clip from the same camera, taken on the same day, and it won't upload it into the program. And I don't know, you know, and I've even tried, you know, uninstalling the program and reinstalling the program, and I don't know what the issue is. It's frustrating. Not as frustrating as you know, as watching the news and experiencing another day of Trump, but still frustrating. So inevitably what's probably going to happen is I'm going to have to upload what I can. And so there's 2 videos, one which will show some of what I saw in London. Now in London, like I say, the air quality was bad. I really had trouble breathing. Once I got out of the car, I found a parking garage at some point. I was several blocks away from where I really wanted to be. But I took a couple of steps out of the vehicle, and I realized I'm not going to be able to make it, even to the elevator that takes you up to the ground floor. So I went back into the car. So I didn't get a chance to really walk around and explore London as I had hoped. I didn't really get to go into the two buildings that I really wanted to see up close, which was, the Tower of London and Westminster Abbey. I did see some beautiful, green spaces, some, with the statues, and I think I went through Piccadilly Circus, and I went through, I don't know, just beautiful, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of like driving through New York City to a certain extent, except with more history. So I just basically wanted to let you know that I'm going to keep working on it, and what I can't upload, I just won't. The good news is that the video will be shorter. So the first video that I will hopefully get up is going to be, my driving to London and using various cameras, what I saw or what I think I saw in London. And later on that video will be a couple of things that I explored and actually did get out of the car. Oxford, I got to Oxford about 7 p.m. and I managed to take a look at Christ Church. Now I really wanted to go into Christ Church. I wanted to get there by 6 o'clock so I could see their choir. But not only that, there are places inside Christ Church. Now I don't know, it probably would have cost money to take a tour. But there are scenes, or there are locations within Christ Church, which is a really big building, and it's, well, I'll let you see the video. There are places inside Christ Church that will surprise you. Now, I didn't get inside, but I have downloaded a couple of pictures from the internet that I gathered to show you, what is some of the things inside. One of the, I think the most intriguing one is that all of the scenes in Harry Potter, where the 4 different groups, the Gryffindors, the Hufflepuffs, the Slytherins, and Ravenclaws, when they all gather, for their meals, or they're all in that great dining hall. That actually, all of those scenes in all of the Harry Potter movies are all shot at Christ Church in Oxford. And at any rate, which you will see with that picture that I did not get to see personally. The other thing I visited and got out of my vehicle was I was able to park right off the street there in front of a little pub, which is somewhat famous. And I think it's called the Child and the Eagle. And it's the pub where a writers group made up of J.R.R. Tolkien, writer of the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, and the author of the Narnia Chronicles, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and all of that, C.S. Lewis. They had formed a little kind of a informal writers group, if you will, and they used to meet there you know, well, once a week or so, and they would, you know, they would eat a meal and, you know, drink a brewski, and they would talk about, you know, whatever they were working on. Sometimes reading like the latest, you know, few pages or chapter of the book they were writing, you know, at the time. And for Tolkien, that was, you know, his work on Lord of the Rings. For C.S. Lewis, it was, you know, his Narnia Chronicles. So anyway, I got to visit there and have a small little meal. And anyway, so I shot some video and some pictures inside there. And then, of course, the second video, as I've mentioned before, I wanted to do a posting of a little town in Cornwall where in 1677 one of my ancestors on my mom's side, from the Grubb family, who left this little village to come to America. And so I've done a lot of research on him and on his family and on the circumstances. And so it was a thrill, really, to go there. And again, I wasn't feeling very well. This was the last day I was there. It was kind of drizzly, kind of rainy the whole way there. It's about a 90-mile trip from my hotel. And by the time I got there, I wasn't feeling really well. They have an old, like, 10th or 11th century church, which is the oldest, you know, in the surrounding area. They were having a funeral at the time, so I couldn't actually go in. I have managed to download some pictures from the internet of the inside of the church. I've joined a Facebook group of a little organization, community organization within that town, so I'm able to keep up with things that are going on there a little bit. At any rate, I think it's a fascinating story of my ancestor, you know, and of his decision to come to America at that time, and why, and actually made quite a success of himself once he came here. But at any rate, so all of that, you know, will be the final video. And at any rate, I wanted to apologize. It's been 3 weeks since I promised to get at least the first one of those up. And I just kept getting so frustrated by the fact that certain video clips won't work in my computer that I kept, you know, putting it off and trying again a few days later. And finally, I've just decided that, you know, if I'm going to get it up, I'm just going to have to get it up with whatever I can process. So anyway, that's what's going on here. And there's probably about 100 videos I've missed posting on my political channel, because there's got to be at least 100 days I was outraged enough to want to post something on my political channel about what's going on in Washington, D.C. But I have just either not felt up to it, or I tell you, I've been taking a lot of frequent naps. Something old Huck has never done before, but I sleep like 2 or 3 times a day now and go to bed early. So, you know, I've got to probably try to get a little bit more stamina going here for me. And at any rate, I thank you for watching. I do hope to get something posted here again, you know, maybe over the weekend, but we'll see how that goes. Don't give up on me. I will get something up as soon as I can. I promise you. Thank you again. Have a good day, everyone. Be kind to one another. I'll see you again real soon.